And so the Hasidic teaching is that these next 12 days, we're supposed to bring life into the memories of all the past 12 months of the year to help us prepare for the new year. So it's not an accident, as the Baal Shem Tov says. There's no such word as accident, really, in Judaism. It's all hashgacha. It's all divine providence. So it just depends on how we look at things. So there's so many teachings from the Baal Shem Tov, but I'll try to convey some of them, some of my favorites, I would say. Actually, the first time I spoke in public when I came to Boulder was on Chai Elul.
You're breaking up.
I forgot what the event was. Tirza invited me to come to. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So David asked me to say something when I first came, and I mentioned that Chai Elul was the birthday of the Baal Shem Tov, and the Baal Shem Tov said he primarily came into the world to teach about three loves: love of God, love of Torah, and love of Israel. And one without the other is really incomplete, because he really based it on the Zohar. The Zohar says that there are three attachments connected one to the other: Israel to God and to Torah. They're all one bond, one kind of joint connection. So I think I'd like to share something about each of these teachings and on a deeper level, what the Baal Shem Tov meant by it. And today is also actually, by the way, the birthday of the Alter Rebbe, Rabbi Shneir Zalman, the author of Tanya. And a very cool story, when the Alter Rebbe was conceived, the Baal Shem Tov was going to the mikveh. And when he was going to the mikveh, it happened to be it happened to be cold, like it probably will be tomorrow. And they had to plow through the ice to get into the water. And the Baal Shem Tov was going up and down several times. And his attendant had a candle with him, but the candle was already going out because it was taking so long. And he got a little nervous because it was in the middle of the night. So he said, Master, what should I do? It's getting dark and my candle is going out. So the Baal Shem Tov said, there's plenty of bicycles around. Take an icicle. The same God who decreed that a candle shall burn can also decree that an icicle will burn. And sure enough, the icicle continued to burn until the Baal Shem Tov finished. And his attendant said, well, what took you so long tonight? He said, you should know tonight a soul is conceived. There's going to be a brand new soul. Now, usually in later times in history, we're all recycled souls. We've been around, way back. But once in a while, a new soul comes into the world, a brand new soul that's never been here before. So the Baal Shem Tov said, a new soul is being conceived tonight. His name is going to be Shnei Or, two lights, because he's going to illuminate the world with the light of the revealed Torah and the oral Torah. And sure enough, 9 months later was when the Alter Rebbe, Rabbi Shneir Or Zalman, was born. So, in terms of the love of God, so the Baal Shem Tov taught something very interesting. Yeah, there's a saying in Pirkei Avot, I'm sure some of you have come across it, that says that every day a voice comes out from Sinai reminding people to immerse themselves in Torah, to connect to Torah. And so the Baal Shem Tov says every day a sound is coming from heaven. Either if nobody seems to hear it. Nobody that we know seems to hear it. Like, what's the point of the sound? And if it's there, but nobody hears it, why is it coming out? And why, if it is coming out, why don't we hear it? So Baal Shem Tov says, the voice, the sound is coming out every day. The transmission is clear, but the reception ain't so clear all the time. So we don't always get it. So part of our focus in life is to really clarify, is to clean up our reception. Get rid of the static in our life so that we can really hear this bas kol coming out. And what is this bas kol? This bas kol is connected to something that has to do really with hashgacha pratit, which means divine providence. As I said in the beginning, that something being an accident was not in the Baal Shem Tov's vocabulary, because he said that everything we see and hear is meant to be for us, is meant to be a teaching, a lesson for us. We can take something out of everything that we experience personally, or also maybe encounter in the world. And if it's something negative, it's meant to stay away from. If it's something positive, it's meant to take into our being and perhaps to help out in a situation where we can help. So, I mean, it's kind of difficult. It's a big task in a way in this world where there's so much coming in on us, especially, you know, with Zoom and social media. So I think we have to refine what's, you know, what we can take in a positive and practical way, and what's not meant for us. But that idea that we're not just here to go through life in the way that we feel we want to do, but leave space, leave room for messages to come in, from the divine, again, either leading us away from something negative or toward something positive. Another basic teaching from the Baal Shem Tov, also based on Pirkei Avot, the Mishnah says that if somebody learns from their friend one chapter, one verse, one paragraph, one verse, even one word, even one letter, you're supposed to give honor to the person who taught you that. So the Mishnah says, brings an example from King David. King David learned from his teachers who were very scholarly but not so good. He learned two things only, and he gave them honor because of that. So the Baal Shem Tov explains that if you're learning from somebody who's not deeply connected, then whatever information they're giving you is one bite of information. It's closed in, it's kind of locked in. But if you're learning from somebody who even is teaching you that one word, that one letter, but they have a deep connection to that letter, like the other main teaching of the Baal Shem Tov that Rabbi Shneur Zalman also promoted in his writings, is that God is continually recreating the world every minute. And therefore, again, there's no cause for despair, because if you're connected to the past, that means you're stuck. You're stuck in the past. But being connected to the future means you're open to something new, always to renewal, to something new, always coming into your life. So he says about this teaching that if you learn from somebody who even if they're teaching you Aleph, you know, one letter of the Hebrew alphabet, but that Aleph is connected to, so to speak, the Aleph of Anochi, the Aleph of I am the Lord your God. From that Aleph, all kinds of doors, all kinds of worlds can open up to you. So the Baal Shem Tov was totally positive. You know, the rabbis say he came to teach, he came to change, not Judaism, but to change Jews, to wake them up. And that's why his name was Israel. People said that there's a teaching of somebody faints, if you go and whisper to them, to say to them their Hebrew name, that can revive them. So the Baal Shem Tov said, came to teach Yisrael, 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 to all the Jewish people, to wake up that core of their neshama. So before I blow the shofar, I came in last night, I came in 9th place to a contest, a Hasidic contest that was held all around the world. Hundreds, maybe thousands of people contributed. So, okay, ninth place, is not so is not so shabby as I wrote. But the poem that I wrote, that I won, is really based on a Baal Shem Tov's teaching that nothing and really fits in with quantum mechanics. Nothing in the world is static, is closed in on itself, because that constant divine light that's flowing into something is making everything permeable and interconnected. So here's my poem. I call it The Edges of Illusion. The illusion of matter as all there is, when fluid space and time are held in station. We tend to gaze upon a rock treading underfoot, forsaken from a soul's exalted vantage point, while eyes in their sockets lock upon contours of reality, drawn from synthetic lines and sand. The shutters of our earthly lens capture an upside-down world, frozen in myopic view. Mistaken are the snapshots for the whole. But somehow we know deep in our core how silent stone may masquerade as concrete form, how as masters of misdirection they conceal a phantom current, divine will, flowing through letters of creation. We scan the holy books and wonder, why are rocks a name of God? Do they reflect the freedom to be still and still to be eternally? So too nature in all its countless forms, water, air, fire, earth, deceptively predictable, till floods, tornadoes, flares, and quakes erupt, till inexplicably people burst from selfie silos to rush to aid those in need. These anomalies speak to us clairvoyantly, reminding us beyond the edges of illusion lie the illusion of edges, vanishing in an expanse of infinity. Hold on.
Yeah. Thank you. And thank you for that poem. I love that line, beyond the, what is that? Beyond the edges of illusion, right? The illusion of edges.
Beyond the edges of illusion lies the illusion of edges. When I thought of that one, channel that. So thank you, everybody, and you should have a good day, good Chai Elul, and remember to awaken the life inside of you and to apply it for each day leading up the ladder till Rosh Hashanah, and have what I like to call this year an Elul-avated season. Elul-avated season. Thank you.